You guys know that in Korea, everybody has to enlist for the military at some point before a certain age.
A lot of Asian countries have it.
Low-key is kind of fire. I like that.
Not Japan. Japan's just doing J-pop shit, dude.
Because you have to do that in Taiwan too.
Malaysia has that too, I think.
Israel's big on that, apparently.
Japan's got American military stationed there, so they're like, thank you.
I personally think it's a pretty cool thing.
I think so too.
I think it's tight.
What do you think would exempt somebody from that? From having to do that at all?
Health problems?
Mental or physical disability.
2 left feet.
2 left feet.
Or they're missing 1 or 2 or more legs.
1 or 2 or more.
Maybe there's a caretaking situation.
Yeah. Cover all the bases.
Maybe like, for example, if I was the only child and then like my dad was passed away or something, my mom was ill and like she was the only, I was her caretaker.
IQ?
But isn't it usually just training for the most part? Like they
Most
do
of
a
it's
training,
training, yeah.
and then they might put them into like a job or something, but not like necessarily see combat.
That's what I like about it.
Yeah, like
a
that.
lot of them,
I think that's. I think that's mandatory. I think.
Yeah,
that's
a lot of them it's not like guaranteed go to war. A lot of it is just training, and that's what I'm.
Be like reserve.
It's like boot camp, just in case they have to mobilize.
But then it's long though. It's like a year or two. Some of them.
A year boot camp?
No. The service. The service.
Oh, so it's like you're like a reserve, but you're doing different roles, right? Like you're military police or like
line chef.
Like a year or 2 or 3, some of them.
So it's always kind of been a thing whenever anyone in Korea gets really famous as a superstar internationally. It's always a thing of like, oh, what's gonna happen when they have to serve? For b-boys in Korea that get really popular, they just have to stop breaking and they have to go do the thing, and you just don't see them anymore.
What's
There's
breaking?
so many break dancers.
Okay.
Yeah.
What age they have to go? Like 18 or something?
You have until 28, and I think it just got pushed to be 30.
So when you're a K-pop star, it's like, and you see like your career skyrocket when you're like 17 or something, and then that's when they're like, oh, I don't know if I could take a break from my tour.
But which is why you'll go when you're like 28.
Yeah, that's why like I remembered a lot.
Kind of get to choose the window a little bit.
Yeah.
You can. Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
I remember growing up like when there were like when there was a huge boom in like Korean dancers just like taking over the scene, and they had such a limited amount of time to like to make their mark, and then they would just be gone, and it was like a crazy thing that like, and that, in a way it was kind of motivating because you knew that like, oh shit, I only have this window of time.
Or some fled, remember that?
And some did. Some came here and just like didn't go back to Korea, and now they can never go back because if they go back, they're gonna have to, you know.
That's kind of cool too, though.
But and it's been a known thing. Obviously, everyone's like, what's gonna happen to BTS? Like, what's gonna happen to them when they're doing all this stuff? And it's always been a known thing that they were gonna try to get them exempt. But South Korea's culture minister has actually called for their exemption from military service.
So it's not gonna happen, huh?
Has called for their exemption?
Yeah.
So they don't have to go to
They
military
have a
service.
special program.
They're trying to figure out within that 2-year service if they can just do a different thing that actually benefits Korea within what they're already doing.
Because I thought that the what do you call it, like the tourism board or the government spends money on exporting Korean culture, and they consider now like K-pop and all this stuff as one of those vehicles of, you know, getting people's, you know.
But wasn't like Taeyang, who was huge K-pop as well, instead what they did, he also still had to go to the military in training and stuff like that, but he would just go around to all the military bases and perform.
Like USO shows, basically.
Yeah. So you're still doing your thing, but you just have to do it within the confines of being able to like
Yeah, that's true. Because
fulfill your
let's say
service.
you're like Gordon Ramsay, right? Young Gordon Ramsay, right? And you cook and shit. You're useless behind a fucking gun.
Yeah.
Put him behind a kitchen, like a fucking. Put him behind a pan, you know. That's doing service.
Think about all the morale he would boost, you know, with the delicious food.
Didn't Elvis go to World War II?
I don't know if he actually went to war. I thought he was just.
I think he performed at war. No.
I think you're thinking about Captain America as propaganda.
Oh, my bad. Yeah. I think I'm thinking of Elvis, actually.
I saw Elvis in a uniform in Hawaii, right?
Yeah, he served in the army, 1958 to 1960.
That's right. Why would he be in war?
Well, that's after World War II.
I don't know if he necessarily was deployed, but yeah, But see, that was a cool thing because that was a huge point of American pride that he still put his guitar down and was like, I'm going.
Yeah.
You know.
And Jimmy Stewart went in?
I don't know if that would get you the same props today. What do you think?
Same props today?
I don't think we're as patriotic as we are before.
Well, what about Pat Tillman? Pat Tillman. When Pat Tillman went in, everyone still talks about it.
I think at that era, I think people were super patriotic. I almost feel like in this day and age, I don't know if it started in 2020 or whatever, but the the consensus is like America sucks, or it feels that way. It feels like a lot of Americans think America sucks.
According to American research, yeah. From other Americans.
You're from a military family. Are you the only one aside from your sister that didn't go?
Yeah,
to
I'm the biggest
military?
bitch in the whole
Do
family.
you feel like you're like I didn't follow in my military family footsteps?
100%.
It's only funny because it's true.
Yeah, I think about it all the time actually, about how what a bitch I am. Yeah, because
Just wanted to rub that in.
Yeah, no, I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, my grandpa was always like, "Don't fucking do Marines because it's way too hard. You don't want to do Marines."
Wait, so he's proud of the Marines, but he looked at you and said, "Don't do it."
Well, not me. He told my dad and like my uncles and stuff. So
Oh, he told his own kids not to do it.
Yeah.
So it
He-
wasn't just you.
When my dad met him, my dad was only like 17, 18 years old. So then he's like, "Chuck, don't go in the fucking Marines. They'll kill you." He's like, go do the chair force. Nobody gives a fuck about those guys anyway.
Chair force.
And so yeah, so then that's what my dad.
Most Marines, when you ask them like if you were to redo your like career over again, what would you do? All of them are like, "Oh, I'll probably join the army." Including Don, including Dime Don.
So what gets people to join the Marines in the first place?
I think
then?
what it's that like almost elitism.
the prestige.
It's like, okay, they're the few and the proud. They get the toughest shit. It's the hardest fucking training. But when you go through it and you start learning like best ways to learn, you realize it doesn't need to be that hard for every single thing that you do.
Yeah.
Like in other like funnels, like let's say the Army or whatever, or even the Air Force, because they have their own special ops too. It's like boot camp is for general people. Let's make it generally hard. If you go up to another school and it's a little bit more difficult, make that a little bit harder. So in the Army, by the time you get to Green Berets or Rangers, or in the Air Force, their special ops is the PJs. It's extremely hard, and it's on the same level as Navy SEALs like Buds Week and Hell Week, but it's built up that way. Marine Corps boot camp is just fucking extremely hard right at the get-go. So most people, they join in like fucking a year later, they're so burnt out. They're like, I'm so fucking burnt out, but had I done the Army or the Army route, I might have stayed in for 20 years. You know, so that's why.
My brothers both did chair force like boot camp, and they were both saying how all they met was fucking idiots, so anybody could do this shit. It was great, and
That's encouraging.
and my brother also hurt his back in there, like in the Air Force. He hurt his back. But he was
Because of the chair?
He was sitting in the chair the whole time, which is fucking poetic. Because he was actually sitting in the chair the whole time. He slipped a disc, and then when he went to the
Sitting's bad for you, dude.
PT guys, they had him doing these weight lifting things that fucked his back up even harder.
What?
Yeah, now he gets disability, and all he did was sit in a fucking chair in the Air Force.
Disability
Air
sick,
Force
though.
is
It's sick.
fire.
You get a salary for like the rest of your life.
Oh
Yeah.
my god.
Yo, that's pretty dope.
I almost wish I fell off a cliff before I came out.
You're just like looking for cliffs the whole time on your last day out.
Don't people hella do that though? Like try and injure themselves before they bounce?
I don't know, maybe. I don't know.
So Marine dudes, they go through it and they see what it's really like, and then they compare it to other like companies, and then they'll be like, "Oh man, actually, it probably would have been better if I went Navy first, or if I went like Army first," and then but that's still the prestige of being a Marine. It's still so high that people that don't know, they still want to join.
Because then it's almost like it's that personality type, right? So when you have like, let's say someone that has gone through it, and like let's say he's thinking about joining the military, if he's like the Marine personality type, I'm like, dude, this shit's so fucking hard, you don't want to do it, trust me. He's like
fuck
he's
you, I'll do
salivating
it.
at the mouth. Oh, I gotta do it, of course I have to do it.
I'm not a pussy.
You know what I mean? It's like, because then that almost has that reverse effect where it makes people go, oh, you're telling me it's the hardest and I have to deal with it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Bart is the most Marine I've met, because there are Marines that you meet where it's like they can't shut the fuck up about how they're Marines, and you're like,
That's the real Marine.
well, that's what I mean, because you're an actual. Well, to me, you're a real one. Because my grandpa didn't fucking talk about it either. You know what I mean? Like he'll talk about it like if you ask him questions, but he doesn't want to fucking talk.
Those are
about it.
Marines, and there's real Marines.
Yeah.
They're not going, Semper Fi.
Yeah, he's like, did you say hoorah? Did you say hoorah right now? Hoorah, man!
Are we gonna film? Oh, let me take my dog tags out.
And you're at the gym, you guys have a discount for Marines and an upcharge for Navy?
Yeah.
Yeah. Charge him.
Are you a poser Marine or a real Marine?
Yeah.
Do you have a chair for Chair Force guys?
Chair exercises.
Have a seat, sir. Welcome to the club.
Thank you.
Do you feel like if and again, I'm not from Korea or anything like that, but it'd be like kind of a slippery slope to enable, like BTS, for example, no matter how popular they are.
I mean, it's still a steep slope to catch up to what they're doing.
Yeah, do what BTS does and you get exempt.
But what you're saying
Do
is
what they
like,
do.
what's next, right? Like, what's
Yeah.
the next thing? Because usually the second thing that gets exempt is usually already way easier than what the first people have to do.
Exactly.
If you get your own McDonald's meal, dude, you could do whatever the fuck you want.
Because even like, again, I'm not explicitly saying, I don't know if these are fucking rumors or whatever, but I remember even when Hong Ten, I think Hong Ten was still doing the Marines military service.
Hong Ten is a star b-boy that like changed the world of breaking.
Yeah, and he was a Rebel BC1 champion, and he was the second b-boy in the world to be a 2-time Rebel BC1 champion, and he did it at
Like a decade apart.
in the 10-year anniversary. It was in Korea for Rebel BC1 again, and they were doing all the old champions come together. So he was a champion of champions, but I heard that he was in military service during that time, and he snuck out because it was still in Korea, and he competed for Rebel BC1, won it, and then went back.
That's pretty
Because it's still within the country. But you know what I mean? It's like if I would assume that even for like such a high profile, you know, group like BTS, like if they're gonna exempt anything, it would still make sense for them to fulfill their duty as an example to the rest of Korea even. But then obviously there are exemptions within their time that they're doing it.
They should be able to do both.
Yeah, if there's compromises like that, that'd be really sick. Like there are people that like play in the Olympics from the military, and or play a professional sport actually.
Army, Navy, football.
Yeah, like
all that shit.
they'll get exempt for the game, or maybe even a little window before and after. But right when they're done, they go right back to what their normal platoon is.
But then you'd still, the compromise is, it's still like, dang, even BTS still went to the army. That would be so encouraging or inspiring if I was like a young Korean.
More people would want to go, I think.
Especially if you're trying to build patriotism.
Yeah, that's great.
Yeah.
That's true.
Or else this could be the start of unraveling that like extreme Korean patriotism that we know about.
You guys think that they actually sat down and figured out what they wanted their BTS meal to be?
Yeah, I think about that too.
Like 7 dudes can agree on one fucking meal.
Like their favorite shit.
Like there's no way they all were just like,
It
yeah,
should have
that's
just
the
been a
one.
7-piece McNugget.
But it was pretty basic though, wasn't it? It was like a cheeseburger with some nuggets. Solid. Can't beat
I feel like
that.
BTS comes in for the extreme collab. We're changing from 6-piece to 7.
That'd be pretty tight, right? A 7-piece McNugget.
Like,
That's the only thing different.
If we had to pick a McDonald's meal right now, I think we would all have a difference of opinion.
It'd be a combo meal, just like the BTS guys.
After 3, everybody say the same, exact same time. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Big Mac combo.
The chicken nugget.
What did you say? Fish quarter pounder?
I said a Filet-O-Fish and quarter pounder and nuggets. Like
Hey, that's what I always
and a
get.
soda.
Wait, a Filet-O-Fish and a quarter pounder in one meal?
And nuggets.
That's what I always get.
And a soda, and then
I get quarter
dipping
pounder with
sauce.
mac sauce.
That way everyone's happy, bro.